Hello everyone, I'm back with another putting tip video. In this video, I actually have 3 tips that I want to give you. Now I'm going to start out with the very first tip, and that's a tip on speed, the rate at which your putter travels from you to the basket. Now, most people can tend to dial in that speed to where they get the speed and it reaches the basket, and if they miss, it doesn't go too far. But one issue I've been seeing a number of professional disc golfers do in the tournaments that I've been watching recently is they will basically putt. They'll get everything lined up, they'll get ready to go, and then they'll essentially putt really quickly. And that's something you want to avoid. What I'm advocating is that you do the same stroke, the same, getting everything aligned and how you want things to go, but you do so in a more controlled manner. So you line things up and you do essentially what Paul Macbeth does, is he basically gets it out there, but he doesn't just, the putter doesn't go out like that. It starts out and he may end up quickly, but he does it in a controlled manner. So let me try to duplicate that. So like that, you notice how I didn't go like that. I didn't, 0 to 60 or 0 to 100. I didn't start out at 60 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour in terms of how quickly you got the putter out there. What you want to do is you want to start with that level of control and then get it in the basket. The second tip that I have is to practice the straddle. In my opinion, the best putting type is the spin putt from a staggered stance, where one foot is a lead foot and it's typically the same foot as your dominant hand. If you're a left-handed putter, your dominant foot and dominant hand will be the same. But there are obviously a lot of other versions. There's the staggered stance. There's also a straddle. And what I recommend is you practice both equally, both the staggered and the straddle, because there's a lot of times in disc golf where you'll need the extra power that the staggered stance gives you. And sometimes you have to putt around a tree or obstacle and you have to assume a straddle stance, so you need to practice that. So what I tend to do is, if you watch any of my previous putting videos, you tend to know I have 5 putters and then I putt 5 times, pick them all up, and then putt over and over and over. Here I recommend the same. So I'll do like, 5 like this, pick them all up, do that 3 times, 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then I'll basically grab the putters again, and then I'll practice a straddle. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of this, basically, get them, come back, and then I actually straddle the other direction. So I basically pretend there's a tree here and I have to straddle around it, or a tree here and I have to straddle around it, because maybe I can't straddle the other direction, and that's what I practice. And then in addition to that, sometimes I'll practice sort of a further straddle. So that's my second tip. Okay, my third tip actually does have to do a little bit more with speed, in the sense I'm advocating a level of power. So when you're putting, you don't want to putt with too much force, in that if you miss, you go dramatically far away from the basket. So like what I tend to do as a spin putter, if I miss, like I'm going to deliberately miss, the disc can go a significant ways if I don't give it enough power. One thing you can do, that you can also do in a straddle as well as a staggered stance, is you can practice, and I'm going to miss deliberately, is you can practice using just enough power to where it falls just past the basket. And this helps also control how the basket might spit out or kick against the disc. If you don't throw it too hard, there's a much greater chance that it'll go in the basket and it won't be kicked out. Whereas if you throw too hard, well, in that case, I can't duplicate that kind of failure. But a lot of times you can go too quickly, provide it too much power, and it does that. I've seen that a lot of times, or if you do it lightly enough, it'll just do that. Or if you obviously go too much power, it go too far, or if you apply too much power and it'll just rip past us as opposed to maybe doing that. Or if there's a ricochet and it does chain out, you want it to not go as far by not providing too much power basically. So those are my 3 tips. I hope that helps you. Remember to focus on those 3 things, and that should help you not just improve your putting, but minimize the negative consequences of a missed putt or a failed putt due to the basket. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.